Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Old Gray Bricks. Thursday night, I guess we're talking about Brickworld this evening. That's the general topic.
I think it's a little early, personally.
I don't know. We can talk about whatever. It could be a messy Thursday.
I can talk about Lug Bowl.
I was going to say, technically, Matt is leaving for Brickworld next Thursday, so he won't be with us. So
Will not be. He'll be on the road.
he's walking, apparently.
Yeah, but, it can be a messy Thursday. We can talk about whatever.
It sounds so final that Matthew's leaving next Thursday and he won't be with us.
Wait, it is next Thursday today.
So I just want to tell you that I know everyone's.
Yes, speak your words now before there is no more time.
Everyone's going to be completely jealous, but a week from tonight, we will be staying at a B&B called The Dolly. It has a life-size cardboard cutout of Dolly Parton, and it has Dolly that free room at the B&B. Winning.
That sounds pretty great.
Wow.
I have one thing to say before.
And I would say you couldn't be any more gay, but it's questionable sometimes how gay you really are. But this reaffirms for me, so we've got that going for you.
I'm scrolling through and it's in rural Kentucky, like east of Lexington, kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Like I'm scrolling through, clicking on, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is the place. we're gonna stay at the Dolly.
Meanwhile, it's actually a sheep farm.
No, there's pictures on. Oh, maybe outside, but inside it's
I have been to Opryland, aka it was before Dollywood happened, so it was still a little Dollywood-esque. But are you going to stop at Dollywood while you're out that way?
No. We have a strict schedule. We have a mark.
You got counties to hit.
Yes, we do.
Honestly, I can't recommend going that direction anyway, because that whole sort of Pigeon Forge area is, I don't know, it's...
Oh, we love it. It's tacky and amazing.
Okay, well, enjoy.
And they have a kick butt. I'll do the polite term. A kick butt donut shop called the Donut Friar, which shows like this Catholic priest, Friar, the Donut Friar. And people line up at this place. This is in Gatlinburg. So if you're going to Dollywood, you got to go get your donuts at the Donut Friar. Matt Gunning recommendation.
Yeah, I haven't had one yet.
I am thoroughly pleased with the pun. So
I even told my husband, I said, you know what we haven't done for the trip? And he's like, what? And I said, because I've got all the lodging booked now. And I said, we have to research the best donut shop on our trajectory. He goes, oh, I've already started on that. I was like, excellent.
And that right there, my friends, is a happy couple right there. That is a happy couple.
Knows me.
Let's say hello to our fine people in the chat. Will Hefner is in the chat, Dave's Brickhouse, and TJ.
So Will was in the chat at 7:30.
Yes, I guess Will did a drive-by on the chat at 7.
Evidently.
Is that like 4:30 for him? Oh, no, I guess it's 7:30 our time. Forget.
Isn't he in Texas now?
Oh, is he?
Will?
I thought he was still...
He's in the West Coast.
Will was in the greater Seattle area.
Yeah.
No, the other guy that was in Portland moved to Texas.
Oh, that's Arg.
You know,
Wasn't that Brett Hooper?
Yeah, Brett Hooper.
Brett Hooper.
Moved to Texas.
Yeah.
Will is definitely still in the Seattle zone.
Yeah, you would think that between Hooper and Moon leaving the greater Northwest, that the Lego enthusiasm would have dropped like 6 points at least. But I'm sure they're surviving.
Speaking of the Pacific Northwest, let's see what our fine Captain Xavier is up to. It's been a while. How you doing?
I'm good. I have been army building is what I have been up to. I've been working on my Sig Fig. I finally have the right weapon. focus, you wretch. I actually do own armor that looks like this and used to fight in it back when I was younger.
Neat.
So that's coming together nicely. I have acquired a whole bunch
Here's
of
this. Hey, Aubrey.
figs. Hello.
Hello,
Figs
hello.
from the hundred or not the Wars of the Roses. And the two banners there are actually They were actually historically accurate banners for one of the Henrys and one of the Richards. I don't remember which. There were several involved in the Wars of the Roses. But as far as I haven't been able to identify any of the heraldry that any of the soldiers are wearing. It all looks like it could be real heraldry, but so far I haven't been able to identify them as being houses or members of any major houses or anything like that. Brick Cascade was a couple of weeks ago. It was awesome. I did not bring anything. I just went to have fun, and I did. Two friends and I, finally did do something we've been wanting to do forever, which was wargaming using minifigs. We used a very simplified version of Brick Wars rules. I just set up at a table in the middle of the conference and battled it out. So I had my British redcoats versus, unfortunately, my friend failed to bring his French infantry, so he had to cobble together a coalition of Italians, Prussians, Russians, some French, and then they were soundly trounced by my redcoats. We also had a battle, an army of clone troopers / stormtroopers and droids in general. Fought those two battles. Those were fun. I'm actually planning to reach out to the folks that run Brick Cascade and volunteer next year to bring multiple armies and run battles for the public.
Cool.
So that they can fight it out. We'll make even simpler rules and fairly small armies so that a battle will take a half hour or so. But I have lots and lots of armies. I have armies of pretty much every castle faction that ever existed at this point, and a bunch of factions that didn't exist. Like these guys with their fancy helmets and all of that. And trying to figure out which factions I'm going to meld these guys into, or if I just want to create new factions. I've also been collecting minifigs. The Disney line that recently came out has because it's Disney and they did a lot of fantasy stuff. There's an inordinate number of great figures for castles, so various queens and princesses and Robin Hood, and so I've managed to track all of them down and have made non-Disney figs out of them and figuring out where they go. We have somebody who's often on this show that's really into Nexo Knights, don't we? Do we?
There's a couple people who enjoy them.
Because I was recently sent some figs that are apparently limited edition. I don't know how limited the edition actually is.
Those were from the magazine that they published out of the UK, I believe. Those are cool.
Is that what they're from?
Yeah.
I would love to give them to somebody who would appreciate them more than I would, because I have no use for the figs or really the parts in them.
I will say
We have a volunteer.
Dibs
Dibs has been called.
Mark
I
and
honor the sanctity of Dibs.
Mark and
Contact me. I'll mail them to you.
are they do not like Nexo Knights, and we enjoy pushing Nexo Knights at them a lot. So
we love to give
whoever
them a hard
wants them,
time.
reach out to me. Send me your mailing address, and I'll toss them in the mail to you.
Absolutely. I will give them a luscious new home to partake in.
Lovely. I think that's all I got.
Well, that was quite a bit.
It's
You've
been a
doing
while.
stuff.
It's been a while.
It has been.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my armies have gotten quite ridiculous. They've outgrown their drawers, and then I started adding cavalry. Now there's just no room whatsoever.
Very good. Let's see what's going on with Aubrey. Hey, Aubrey.
Hello. I don't know why my camera looks like that.
It looks like somebody licked it or something.
That's a little bit better, right? Maybe my dog. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't really been doing a whole lot of Lego in the past 2 weeks. Got a little bit burnt out with Lego Office Week that Aunt Band-Aid Adam and I hosted. So I have my office set sitting on my desk still. So yeah, I don't know if y'all already talked about this or not, but I am going to Brickworld, so I will be there. I'm very excited. This is my first Brickworld experience.
And your second convention to boot.
Yes, my second convention. Really, first convention not at home. So Atlanta was a little different because it was, home. I am planning on bringing the reef again, and there is a small build that I'd like to do, but I don't even have all the parts for it yet. So we'll see.
You got 3 weeks.
Yeah. So we'll see how quickly that comes together, and if not, then I'll just do it later.
You could just be like Mayor and message me on Instagram and be like, "Do you have these bricks? I need them like tomorrow."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, part of the problem is I don't know exactly what I need, which is why I don't have it yet. So
This is
I have the idea, and it's small. It's not a big thing. It just needs to come together. So we'll see if I can do it in 3 weeks.
That's where Bricklink Studio comes in handy to build
Yes.
digitally to figure out what you need,
Yep.
even if it's a rough draft.
That's what I'm planning on doing and trying to see if I can figure it out this week. And if not, then it will just be for a later convention, or I will just post it on Instagram.
There you go.
Aubrey, did you already include that? Like, have you registered your other mock, right? That you're bringing?
Oh yeah, yep. So I did
you-
include the one
space?
that I'm planning on building, and so obviously if I don't bring it, that is more space for somebody else.
Yeah. I know. I just remember that email coming out this week
Yep.
saying that they're very
Yep.
limited.
So that is another thing that I'm also kind of debating is like there's already not enough space, so I would hate to take up space for something that I did last second.
Yes.
So
Well,
that's
you
why
did-
I'm also not really like super worried about finishing it and bringing it. So
Hey, if they excluded things that were finished at the last second, there would be half of the
Nothing
stuff
there.
would. Come on, let's be real.
yeah. I know that's the response I'm getting from everybody is everything is always last second. So
Well, and, I think Moto made this comment. I think it was Moto that why rush to build something to take to a show? Have it ready already months ahead of time, and that's what you take to a show versus something that you're in the middle of building. And there's a part of me that agrees with him 100%, and then there's another part of me that says, "But no, that's not how it's done."
it's just so exciting to be like, oh, I have this idea and I want people to see it.
Right.
And
Well, and not only that, but like, because it's not limited to Lego only. I mean, it is a universal concept of con crunch is what they refer to it as. Is that you're getting ready for the con, you're in crunch mode, you've down to the wire. I know in costuming, you are up painting, sewing, gluing the night before, even at the hotel before you go down on the show floor the night of or the day of. So there is something about that. And I know I did so many. Mark sure did the same thing. There were so many art projects that I had to do for school that were getting done the night before.
Yep.
But at the same time, though, I produced some of my best work
yeah.
under that crunch. So it's
Yeah,
tough.
where you cut yourself an X-Acto knife and don't bleed on it. Get away from the project.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I saw Moto comment that there's no room for last minute registration. Fortunately, I had this idea months ago, so I did register it.
Yeah, I mean, all you got to do is register a name and a size.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
and that can be vague.
Well, the good news is you are going with a bunch of people from your lug, and we have a general lug area. And even though they're condensing the room that we have, we probably will have a little room to flex around and fit things if people need it. So.
And there's always that possibility that somebody will say, "Hey, I didn't bring this or that," and it'll.
Yeah, and I figure like my big thing is the reef, and as long as the reef gets to be displayed, I couldn't care less about the other stuff. Like I'll be happy if it gets displayed, but if it doesn't, I just want the reef displayed. That's it. So
Exactly.
But in other Lego news, Aubrey and I got to hang out with Jillian and Maticus Bricks, who is one of our friends from New Jersey, who came to Atlanta to visit, do a little bit of tourism. We got to hang out the other night. That was a lot of fun. So, from eighth hole, or actually, we decided we were a-holes. We're adult hoarders of Lego. That's what we are. We're a bunch of a-holes, and so we.
Yeah, it was fun. We got to go to this new place called like Your Third Spot, and it was basically like a bougie arcade place.
Yeah, they have arcades and table games and cornhole and bowling and stuff. It was actually cool. It was a neat place.
So,
Yeah.
all right, quick consensus out of those on here. Is it called bags or is it called cornhole?
Cornhole.
Cornhole.
We call it the game those rednecks play down south.
Cornhole.
I grew up in the Midwest, and it was not universally a Southern thing. So
No,
no.
I must have grown up in the wrong part of this.
Those are some bold words from a guy who shoots Nerf in the woods.
No, yeah. Oh, I know what kind of nerd I am. That doesn't mean you're not the kind of nerd you are.
I just assumed that cornhole was a rural America thing. It's not Southern.
I
I
would
think
assume
it
that
actually showed up at the birthday party I was at last weekend, so I'm just talking out of my ear at this point.
Oh, I know you are. We know you are.
Did you say he's talking out of his ear? Did he make a corn joke there?
It showed up.
In the context of the place we went the other night, though, it was bougiefied because they had iPads that you kept score on while you were playing the
Oh
beanbag.
yeah, I went to a place where it was shuffleboard, but it was all electronic and it was wild.
Yeah, they had that too. But we didn't play that, but they did have that.
Not to be confused with the long shuffleboard with the little round handheld version.
And speaking of electronic games, one of the moments that I'm still laughing about was at one point where I think it was Jillian was talking about telling Aubrey, "Oh, we should play Pong," and Aubrey's like, "I don't know what Pong is," and both Jillian and Matt are like, "Oh, it's the game that it goes boop boop boop," and I'm like,
That was their only explanation.
"You guys, you're pointing at her and saying boop."
Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, now I know the game. Like,
But the scene was funny because I was just like on the side watching the two of them go like this and say boop at Aubrey, and she's like, "What are you doing?"
yep.
So did they actually have a Pong council or something?
They had a it's a modern version of Pong, and there's actually a physical pixel that I think a magnet or something moves it around between the paddles on the board.
Oh,
It's actually really neat. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
I'm intrigued.
But yeah, it was a fun place to go. So it was neat. We had a good time, and
Even if it was a little bougie.
But I will say, you bringing up the cornhole and versus bags, there was like an arcade game called Bags, and it was a cornhole game.
Ironically. Or
Yeah.
unironically.
And I made a comment. I remember because I made a comment. I was like, "Is that game called Bags? Like, who calls it that?"
Which I mean, not that cornhole isn't an entertaining name to say in itself, but bags is no less entertaining.
Like, you want to go play Bags?
Exactly. Well, whose bags are we going to be tossing? I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yes, I did when I was at Brick Fair, Alabama, the last time. I guess that would have been 2018. Someone had taken and covered bag boards or cornhole boards with 2x2 tiles,
Oh my god!
and it was, and you were aiming for the O in Lego because that's how they had done it.
Oh, cool.
So it looked like the Lego logo. Was very well done. I took pictures of it with the whole intention of that. Maybe I'll donate or I'll make that a bulk lug project to do my own Lego cornhole boards.
That would be really cool.
I think it'd be cool.
And then you could fill the bags with studs
Ooh,
instead of
studs.
corn.
That would be a good idea. Sorry, I had cat number 1 said I wanted out, and then cat number 2 decided that he wanted to go out as well.
Hi, kitties.
They're good. Hello,
There's
Small
the
Paul.
small Paul chiming in there.
the
but-
kitty cam. Kitty cam.
The voice.
uh,
being
Let's get the north of the border report from our Canadian brother Jeffrey.
Who is muted? Yes, I am still north of the border for another couple of weeks, I guess.
How much snow did you get today?
Absolutely none. It's a nice day. It was like almost, well, probably low 70s if I were to do the conversion properly in my head.
Ooh.
But I'm working on. Let's see if I get. Well, I can't really angle the camera. Working on the castle. I got some tile in today, so I could do some more of the pathing. Earlier this week, I built a little river entrance that will go
Nice.
Ooh, nice.
underneath the underneath my dock area or my port area. And I'm working on the upper part now, trying to, not much there yet. Unfortunately, didn't get a lot done today just because of life and work. But doing that, I have a Lego order coming in tomorrow for some. You know the Harry Potter dot sets they brought out in March, I think it was. I need quarter curve tiles, and they have in trans blue, and they actually came in that set because I don't know if you can see it, but right here there's a couple of turntables. There's a turntable there. But they don't make turntables in any color other than gray, so I figured I could use those quarter rounds in there to at least make it look a little nicer. And I could order them on Bricks and Pieces, as they're not best sellers, so they would take like a month to get here. Or I could spend $25 and get that set and get some extra 1x1 gray slopes or tiles and stuff. So I ended up going that way. I still ordered more of those parts from Bricks and Pieces because I needed to fill the order just to get past free shipping and get the purchase that's available as well. I figured I might as well get that too. So that order is coming in tomorrow. Still waiting for 2 Bricks and Pieces orders that were shipped earlier this week and last week, so they won't come here anytime soon, but hopefully by next week. That's about it. Hope to get some castle work done this weekend because I'm planning to be here the whole time. So yeah.
Good.
Very
Oh,
well.
and sorry, Moto did mention that he was bringing that 14-foot trailer, cube van or whatever with him. He should probably contact Brickworld. Maybe they can just back that up to the back door and use that as show space as well. Just
The annex is what we refer to that as.
But speaking of Moto, we want to say hello to Moto because he's in the chat over there. We also have Chad Konis and Intense joining us. So,
and Will is coming to Brickworld as well, which is cool.
And
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
is Intense.
Yeah. Oh, Intense is too.
Yes, he is.
Awesome.
He's not coming to display though. He's just coming to hang out.
that's all right. The more the merrier.
Yeah.
I don't think I have seen Will in person since he was probably 6 years old, so that'll be fun. Because Will's dad, Tony Hafner, is one of my compatriots from Sealug from long ago, from the Seattle area. So,
So
yes, Paul, it was called Sealug.
you remember me? You reminded me of something. I was at Janie's this weekend, Janie Redbrick, who some of you may know from the past, and we were conversing about what generation, like how the younger AFLs are like basically second generation AFLs, and how we're kind of like as first generation AFLs, I would say, because we were all around when LugNet started and stuff like that. So we're technically first generation, even though there probably was a generation earlier of adults building, but they weren't in the community because there was no community. And just saying that when you watch some people's blogs that are newer, video blogs and stuff, and how they don't know the history of Lego, and it makes us older AFLs possibly grumpy because get off my lawn or get off my base plate, I guess you could say, type thing. Like, it was just kind of an interesting conversation of the fact that we're now into like a second generation of fans, Will Hafner being one of those too. Well, Aubrey, there you go. I don't insult anybody, just more of a, it's weird.
But I guarantee you that Will Hafner knows probably as much as any of us.
100% agree.
Together.
Yes.
He's the Lego encyclopedia. So
My take would be that the second generation people who grew up with parents in the Lego probably are pretty knowledgeable. It's probably the new people who are coming in who didn't have parents with Lego that are like, oh, that exists. I don't know.
The orphan AFOLs.
Not to be confused with Orphan Lug. Just point out. which, by the way, you will meet Orphan Lug, and there are a bunch of great Canadians and other people from around the country or the world. So that's a fun lug.
Cool.
Dave's coming to Brickworld too, and Dave, you and I have met as well, because I was at Bricks Cascade last year, and we met in person then.
Is that
But I definitely want to meet you again. So,
which Dave is this?
this is Dave Morgan, I believe, right?
Oh, okay.
There's
Yeah,
there's about as many Daves as there are Chris's. Just
There are a lot of Daves.
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
a lot of Dave.
just saying.
But I look forward to meeting him again.
I thought for a minute that was Codice, who I've never met in person.
No, he's not coming. He said next year he might go to Brickworld, which is funny because I probably won't go to Brickworld next year.
But
Well,
there's
we have a Canadian limit anyway, so
I'm actually displaying with Toralug because a bunch of them are coming. So I'll be abandoning their tables eventually to come over to your tables, of course. But
I'm pretty sure that was the provision in the renegotiated NAFTA that there can only be so many Canadians that display Lego.
Dave, you were extremely busy that weekend too with the.
I mean, it's okay. You don't have to feel bad if you don't remember meeting someone at a convention, because you meet like 500 people at a convention, and just going to a convention, there's constantly people walking up. It's, hi, I'm so and so, and oh, it's nice to meet you and stuff. And 5 minutes later, you've met 10 people, and it's just it's a lot. So.
Or you don't recognize people. Like, I'm putting together my build at the very first night, and two of my Atlanta people come over, and they're talking to this tall lanky guy, and they're like, "Oh, it's Paul. You know Paul?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I just nod, and then later it's like, "Oh, it's Paul Hetherington, a superstar from the Pacific Northwest who wins like every year best build." And I was like, "Oh, it's that Paul. Why didn't you say?"
Yeah, Paul is the Pacific Northwest version of our Martin, is what I would probably say.
No one asked for a small Paul at the moment. Thank you.
I was like, "Oh, that Paul. Oh."
But my favorite thing that happens, which wasn't the same thing, is that when people come up and you're madly trying to put something together in a display, and they want to start having a conversation with you, and you're like, "Can you come back like in an hour or tomorrow?"
I can already imagine with me having the mosaic on the floor and me like crawling around doing zip ties. Somebody's going to want to talk to me about it, and I'm going to be like, "Can you come back Thursday?"
Yeah, exactly.
My goal is to get the thing put together on Wednesday so that I can part strap on Thursday and I can hang out and be fun. But like Wednesday, I plan on like trying to get it as together as I possibly can.
Probably Wednesday won't be as many people there setting up, so it probably won't be as bad of a.
Well, and I'm also thinking that the sheer amount of floor space, like mine's going to take a boatload of floor space to assemble, and then once it gets set up, then other people will have space to walk around.
Right.
But I mean, it's 10 foot by 7 feet, and nobody can walk on it while I'm putting the thing together. So, like, I need to get my crap together so that other people have room.
Yep. Well, remember, there is the concession area that you could set up in and then carry it over.
Yeah, he could do that.
Dana.
My plans for Wednesday now are just to go bug Dana and Matt while they're trying to set up and ask them questions about their mosaics.
Awesome.
Either that or just help them. I don't know which one it'll be yet.
Well,
Just remember, Jeff, you want a free place to stay next February.
So I'll be coming to help Dana and Matt. Okay. Fair enough.
I have to ask Matthew a question, though, at this point in time, because I'm sitting here doing something that I don't think Matthew did exactly. Because I'm actually taking my plates and I'm zip tying. I don't know if you can see. I am zip tying in every plate connection so that it will be a lot more sturdy. And I don't know if Matthew did that or not.
Well, Matthew did that after he tried lifting it, and all the joints started to come apart, and he went, I think it needs more stabilizing before I try to lift it. So
yeah,
I would point out that in our private text that I said I would like to come over and see how you did it before I try to do this. But I was ahead of you in the sequence of events here, and so I was like, I'll screw it. I'm just going to give it a try. And there was a learning curve. mistakes were made, as Ronald Reagan famously said about Iran Contra. So the one thing I will point out that I did convey info in your direction, which, as I said, you don't need to pull the zip tie as tight as it can possibly go, because you can actually bend the plastic of
Right.
the Lego brick. And I was like, I don't think it's supposed to bow inward. Like, I think that's a bad look. So I do have zip ties around where all my stabilizing, I'm trying to think of a non-sexual Indo word, but poles, rods are attached. Where all my firm rods are, I have zip ties there. But no, I have not gone through and zip tied every single joint. In fact, I would probably zip tie them where there aren't stabilizing rods.
Oh no, I disagree. They all plates will be zip tied to the next plate to it.
Okay.
Even when I put it all together with the frame, the panels of 9x9 will have connections zip tied to the other adjacent panels as well.
But you also have to break it down, so there's no.
That is what this is for.
Yeah, no, I have.
And that is what this entire bag of 1,000 zip ties.
You know, so I put a lot of zip ties on the back of mine, and I was kind of like, wow, I wonder how much of a dent I made. And I picked up the bag, and I was like,
hardly any. Yeah,
I might have used 150, and it looked like I didn't even take any out of the bag. Like, I was like, okay, well, I don't need to order another one of these bags for quite a while, probably.
Right. Well, because if you figure to do 3 Technic pins between all plates for me, which mine is slightly smaller than yours, is 1,299 Technic pins. So you figure it's going to be less than that because you're only doing 1 versus the 3. So I'm figuring, well, what's a third of that? 300 or no, 400 zip ties probably by the time I'm done.
I wasn't trying to do the math.
I was just doing rough math anyway. So
as Matt was saying how he was trying to say things without getting a little bit too weird, Dana pulled a zip tie and it sounded like a zipper to me. And I was like,
that was not lost on me.
No. Yeah.
I can't remember who I was talking to the other day, but they were like, you were just dropping innuendo. I was like, I'm just talking. I'm not trying to do anything right here.
I would say I've rubbed off on you, but.
So you and Dana and Matthew will be there on Wednesday. Yes.
I'm tentative to find out if I'm going to be Thursday. My departure arrival is in flux.
Yeah, I'll be there Wednesday as well.
My goal is to be there between 1 and 2. We'll be coming in from the Frank Lloyd Wright studio in Wisconsin. I think it's Taliesin. I'm not sure how it's pronounced.
Taliesin.
What is it?
Taliesin.
Taliesin. We're going to do the tour, the 4 o'clock tour the day before Brickworld starts. Then we're going to drive down, and we have to knock out a few counties. And
that's cool. I would very much like to see that, but because I had a big Frank Lloyd Wright kick about 20 years ago where I was really kind of, buying books and reading and watching documentaries and stuff.
Yeah.
And sort of, I still have a few of those around, but yeah. But in Small Paul, we're going to marathon drive up on Wednesday and get there late Wednesday, and then we won't do any setup until Thursday morning.
So I do want to throw this out to any people who are going, and I'm helping to lead 2 of the parts drafts, but the way they do that at Brickworld is you bring a copy of the set, and whoever's there at the get-go gets the draft. Okay, so I'm leading the Magical House because I like the parts in that one, and I'm also doing the Dried Flowers Bouquet. You can find the list, and the nice thing about the way Brickworld does it is that you don't have to register. So like at Brick Fair, there's only so many slots, and you have to bring money, and then you draft. So Brickworld, you just bring your copy of the set. You bring a set, you get to draft. However, I really want to do a draft of a big set and where people would just bring money. And so Dana and I last year participated in a private invitation only draft. So I'm thinking that it would be fun to do an invitation only draft for a really big set. And I'm thinking either Rivendell, where each person would chip in $50 and 10 people would split the 6,000 piece Rivendell set, or 10 people or 8 people splitting 3 copies of the Starry Night. And Starry Night has a lot of plates. If you like plates in different colors.
There's only one Starry in Starry Night.
Oh, okay.
But he's getting multiple copies of Starry.
So, but
So there's
Oh,
3
okay.
Starry Nights. So it'd be Starry Night.
Okay.
you know what? That isn't that follow Lego rules? Like it can't be Legos, it can't be Starry Nights. It's got to be Starry Night bricks.
If you're interested in
Brick.
drafting either one of these, send me a message and do the various platforms. You know, if you don't know, I'm Falconer18 on Instagram. Send me a message on Instagram, and I'm gonna try to get a list of like 10 or 12 people. And if you just bring money, I've already got one Starry Night set, and if I've got at least a couple of people interested, might hop over to the Lego store and get a couple more. And I might go get the Rivendell set just so that I've got one on hand if we do enough people to do a private party.
Yeah, I was gonna say Rivendell would be.
You'd be
I'd
in.
be in for that. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, I watched Simon Liu open up. I don't know whether it was 10 or 15 copies of the Eternals pizza box.
You're
On
obsessed with that set.
huh? No, well, he's the reason why I'm obsessed with that set because it was amazing to see all those parts for that set on the table, and I think it was one of those. You know, again, it was a private draft that he had coordinated ahead of time, and I don't know if it was a buy-in or bring the set or whatever, but I had this feeling that if you just walked in and just held up a sign that said, "Hey, I'm doing a parts draft. Anybody want to join in?" People will just be like, "Sure." So
yeah. Well, at that convention, there's going to be a ton of people. I find it. I don't find it hard to believe that I could get 10 people who would want to do it. Actually, the tricky part will be like figuring out a time that doesn't conflict. And I have a lot of setup that I hope goes very quickly, but it might not.
well, and let me remind you,
realistic.
Remind you that I think when I walked into Simon's parts draft, it was like Thursday night at like 10 o'clock in the concession area.
Okay.
And they just used the table. I think they were even using hot dog containers as parts cups.
Okay, so on that topic, I want to pause for a moment and ask Aubrey, as a first-timer to Brickworld, are there activities that you are looking forward to? Do you want to do a parts draft? Do you want to do a build challenge? Have you looked?
Honestly, I have not even looked yet. Yeah, y'all, I'm really just winging it. It is.
I mean, that's cool. I just because Atlanta BrickCon did not have like a lot of activities,
yep.
and so Brickworld does, and I just wondered if you had.
Yeah, I have been hearing like different things that people keep bringing up, and I'm definitely interested in like seeing what's going on. But with it being like my first out of town convention, and I'm based on what everyone's telling me, Brickworld is going to be crazy, like nothing compared to Atlanta. And I'm trying to just like not go in with these, I have to do a parts draft, I have to do this, I have to do this. Like I would rather just go in and experience it and let things happen. And if I see things there that I want to do, then figure it out. I also, to be completely honest, since I got the 3 containers of loose Lego, I don't really think that I will want to bring home more parts.
Well, I'm gonna burst your bubble with it. You will come home with parts whether you want to or not.
Yes, that's fine. I just don't know if I want to intentionally go pick out more parts to add to those bins because I haven't even touched them. So
I would just offer this piece of advice. So there are the parts drafts, the official parts drafts. You don't have to do any prep. You just have to bring a copy of the set. So I would suggest look at a couple, maybe pick out 2 that you think might be fun,
and
buy a copy of the set. And if you don't go, you just take it back to Lego store and you can get a refund, right? So it leaves your option open. But the other thing that you may need to choose before you get there is they will release the panels, and some of the panels workshops you do have to pay, and there's only a certain number of slots. So last year I took the workshop on building flowers from the woman who is the best in the world, whose name think of at this moment. But she does fantastic flowers. And it was, I think it was like a $15, $20 thing. And you got a little cup of flower parts to practice as she showed what she does up front.
So have they released they haven't released that yet. When are they going to do that?
The workshops last year only came out about 2 weeks to 10 days before the event. So
okay, so probably pretty soon they're gonna.
Wasn't there an email about that, or was that?
There's an email about activities like kids things, but the workshop
I did see that. Yeah.
not gone up yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I did see.
I'm going to register School Paul for the kids thing.
Yep. I did see an email about a couple of those things, and of course everything looks interesting, but yeah, nothing is screaming at me. I absolutely have to do this. So I'm kind of just okay, I'll just go with the flow, and I think it's going to be a lot less stressful for me.
And also with the number of people there, public days, even whatever, don't feel bad if you need to step out and get some fresh air. There's enough AFOLs there that you could probably find a group of people and say, hey, do you want to go somewhere? And you do, right?
Okay, so there's the comment from Hope Castle. Workshops will go live soon. I'm coordinating yard sale and had to submit guidelines. So
okay, cool.
I'd say just watch for the emails and see if you get on something that sounds interesting.
I will say, that's one thing that I think I learned in Atlanta is that you can leave and take a break if you need to leave. You don't have to stand by your build the whole time. Of course, it was my first convention. It was my first time displaying, so I was super excited about it. But I was exhausted, just not from talking to friends and meeting people, but just from talking to the public. And I'm man, I'm so tired, and I don't even have the energy to meet everybody or remember names or remember conversations. So I'm yes, that is one thing I learned, that you can take a break and walk out.
I would compare.
You
got to surfing. You could go to shore and rest, and you come back out and you surf the convention, right? So if you need a break, go back to your room. That's one of the great things. Nick, you need to come to Brickworld just so we can get that very special Nick sense of humor. That's the biggest thing I miss from Brickworld Chicago is the sardonic, sarcastic comments coming from behind that face mask. When one of the great things is, especially if you book right in the conference hotel, you can walk back and take the elevator and go take a nap or whatever. Just chill.
Yeah. That is one thing that I am really glad that this convention is longer, because then you don't feel like you have to be in the convention hall the entire time. Of course, with Atlanta, it was shorter, and there wasn't a whole lot going on outside of the convention hall, so it felt hard to leave. But
sorry, just to add to that as well, the convention pretty much goes all the way through the night too.
Yep.
There are a bunch of night owls that come in at midnight or 10, and they're there for most of the night.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
So you will miss stuff.
Exactly.
There's no way, unless you're on some substance, that you can stay up 24 hours and do everything. So it's a matter of picking what you choose to do and figuring out what you like to do, and you will suddenly get involved in a really fun conversation, and an hour and a half will go by, and suddenly you'll go oh, I was going to go eat.
and then you will walk around the corner, and you'll bump into somebody else that you saw earlier in the day and get into a conversation with them. And the next thing you know, it's 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
And you're where did the last 4 hours go? So just be prepared.
Yes. Yeah, I also agree with that comment. Sleeping it off during the public hours. I'm not expecting to be standing by my build for very.
There's also Schrodinger's Simon, who is both everywhere and nowhere.
Yes.
It's where's Simon? And then there's Simon, and there's Simon, and wait, where's Simon?
It's amazing.
He teleports all over the venue. It's just like,
It's mind-boggling.
and Small Paul actually got a Where's Simon brick. Where's your brick? We'll get Small Paul to show off his brick. Didn't you get the Where's Simon brick, or did I get that brick?
I think you did.
I think Paul. Maybe I got. No, I think you have it. I am looking at my bricks. I don't have Where's Simon.
Nope, me neither. I just have the
Oh wait,
Where's the Simon brick?
Aren't you
Where's
supposed to know where it
the-
is? Like,
didn't you get a Frog Space brick or something? Frog Nation. Okay, Small Paul got Frog Nation. Well, bring that and show it. Show off some bricks. We're talking about
Connor has told us that Simon will be handcuffed to the new Hashima.
I have my
table.
screen flipped, so it's going to look backwards. But this is the Where's Simon brick.
Actually, no, it's actually
actually
correct.
reads proper.
Perfect.
It looks backwards to me, but that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So,
So-
Small Paul has this is Small Paul's stack O bricks, and he has the Frog Nation. That's the Simon brick
Brooks
as well.
O'Brien.
And
I
Bricks
need to
O'Brien.
get a proclamation.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Because you don't deserve it.
Yeah. Small Paul.
Nice.
Hey, how do I get a peach log brick?
I thought I gave you one.
What? It's simple.
We'll get you one. Or I should say Matthew will get you one.
I don't think
Trish will get you one.
Trish might.
For the record, even I have a peach like brick.
I probably have two because I have one for Thomas. So
I don't think I got one.
let me dig around. I think I have two because Thomas is a member and I've got an extra.
Well, let me
Everybody and their brother who didn't have one, who needed one at Atlanta BrickCon, was hounding me, so I was handing them out. So I'm surprised that you weren't part of that group.
But Aubrey, yeah, I mean, one of the cool things about it being in Chicago is that it's in Chicago. So there's a ton of stuff to do. I know last time the Nyes, Adam and Emily stayed in after a couple of days and went and visited the aquarium and stuff. Thomas and I went and looked for this very authentic Ukrainian Polish restaurant because he was like, cool.
No peach log.
Huh.
Yeah.
We'll fix that. We'll fix that.
I did get one of these though.
Jeff and I
Yes.
I was talking. Jeff and I are talking about maybe going up to see a Milwaukee Brewers game on Friday night before the public days kick off because I've never been to that stadium and I'm kind of collecting stadiums. I've been to both Chicago baseball teams multiple times, but I've never been to Milwaukee, and it's only an hour and a half to get there, which is it's
And
crazy.
There's a Lego store and a Bricks and Pieces on the way, or a Bricks and Minifigs on the way. So you know.
There's so many Wayne's World and other references that are going through my head.
See, Jeff, the places I want to stop are different, though. I want to stop at Clark Street Sports, which has unique hats, and I want to stop at Burdeen's, which also has unique hats that you can only get at their store.
So basically, what you're saying is we're leaving at 8:00 in the morning so we can get all that stuff in.
I may have to do a side trip just for hats. We'll see.
Yeah,
But the
I'm
food-
going to take Small Paul on Saturday during public hours. We're going to get out of the crowd and go to the Museum of Science and Industry. So
That's a
we're
good
gonna
time.
Anybody
Yeah. Small Paul says, "Does anybody want to come?" So if anyone wants to go to the Museum of Science and Industry, you can go with us.
Been a couple times. It's cool.
Yeah, no, that's
I went many years ago when I was a kid, so it'll be fun to go and see that. And science museums are awesome anyway. So
there's always something to do.
and we'll have to do Portillo's runs as well.
I
Or
would like
if
to be
you're like-
involved.
Or if you're like Dave Molson and I, you go every day.
What is that?
Exactly.
Dana, would
So-
you like to?
So Portillo's is a Chicago franchise restaurant that actually has some locations outside the Chicago area, which is still just a weird thing anyway. But it is the place historically known throughout the Chicagoland to get your hot dogs, Polish sausage,
Broad.
Italian beefs, brats, burgers, deep fried this. It is a cuisine that is very unique to Chicago and says Chicago all over it. You must go. You must go.
I found out about it on the evening of the last day when everybody was gone, and it was like, wait, what? You
How
were
did
going
that
to this
happen?
place?
Because
No one
literally-
invited me. I didn't know it was happening.
I think I literally went to Portillo's Thursday,
I'm
Friday,
pretty-
Saturday, Sunday for lunch.
I'm pretty sure at one point I was like, "We're gonna go to Portillo's for lunch," and you were like, "Okay." But
I was
you know,
probably building a castle and had no idea what you were talking about.
fair.
You know, I
That's
was rebuilding an
probably
entire
were.
castle.
Yes.
But it is like Chicago street food of like chubby Midwesterners. There was
hey,
a skit-
hey now.
Okay, and then occasionally like Dana sized, but the rest of us. There was a skit of Saturday Night Live did this whole thing about these like guys who were having heart attacks as they talked about the Bears. Basically, they would eat, you know, breakfast, lunch, and dinner at Portillo's. You know, like it's not healthy, but it's very delicious. So if you like that kind of stuff, that's like so. But the other places, there's a really good German restaurant that I went to twice. That's not far. We ate at a Persian restaurant the last night, and it was fantastic. We went to this Polish Ukrainian place, and it was good. We went out for brunch, and it was within walking distance of the hotel, and it was good. I didn't have a bad meal in Chicago.
Yeah, I do know that there is a Quiznos.
No.
There is a reason why they have a festival called the Taste of Chicago.
Don't
Yeah,
go-
just for that Quiznos, right?
Yeah, just
No, don't do it.
It's funny
Okay,
because
but do y'all remember the Quiznos commercials
Yeah.
with the little?
there was a
What is
meme
it?
about that happened this
Monster?
week, wasn't there?
What?
Wasn't there a meme or somebody brought up to who remembers these
I
guys?
think I did. I think me and Nicole.
I think
They
it was
were
me and
called the Sponge Monkeys, and they were. I mean, they were a meme on the internet before the ad, and then they made that weird ad, and nobody got it because it was one of those things. It was bizarre.
So I'll definitely be going to that Quiznos.
Maybe we should leave her home.
You also could go to Ed DeBevick's, which is a place where they insult you. That's part of the show.
Oh,
So the waiters are purposely rude to you, and you pay for it.
It's
I got
basically
to go
looks
to
like
one
a
of
50s
those in Minnesota, and they weren't prepared for the snark to come back at them. It was weird.
Well, not all of us can be Captain Xavier, though.
And then if you've got time, you can go down to the Art Institute of Chicago and see the painting that I made. The real one.
Are you going to go see your painting?
It's on my list tomorrow just to email them and say, by the way, I'm bringing a life-size reproduction. If you want to do something sometime, let me know.
that would be really cool. You never know.
They're probably going to be like, who's this jerk who thinks that we care about his Lego recreation? But, you know. I'm
Hey,
gonna
you never know.
You never know. Maybe they'll think it's cool.
They might. They might.
They might.
So the other thing that's been going on in my house is bulk lug, and Dana has passed the baton for our ambassador role, and people have been volunteering locally and sorting, and so the various bags are coming in, and I made a square out of folding tables, and I stood in the middle so I could like literally like toss them into the boxes. It was actually really fun. I don't know. I'm weird. I like organizing things sometimes. And
geometric shapes.
it was I vaguely felt like a Lego Santa Claus because I was like, and here's some parts for you and some parts for you. But I got it all tossed into the respective bags. And if you've been through the bulk process, one of the things that at least happened to me the first couple of years is that when my box finally arrived many months later, I would have a lot of regrets as to why I made certain choices about like, why did I get this, but I didn't get this other thing? And so it is interesting to see what different people in the community order. Like some people are very heavy and some people like gray for some inexplicable reason.
I didn't order that much gray this year.
No, I'm not talking about you. Other people like lots of colors and, plant pieces and, so it's just kind of entertaining to see what people order. And one of the things that was on our menu for this particular year was what's the acronym for the big ugly mountain piece?
Burps.
The burps, which are that single molded piece that's like a piece of a mountain. That made it on our list.
Rock
With
piece.
that?
Big ugly rock piece.
Big ugly rock piece.
Burp.
I ordered 0 because I don't do that. But then when people order 10, do you realize how much bag that fills up? Like if people get 15 burps, it's a lot of space. I was like, what are we gonna do with all these burps? These burps are big.
Space.
And then Danny and I both picked dots as elements that we put on the list. And you know how tiny 1,000 dots looks? Like you get this little Ziploc bag and it's like, that's 1,000 dots. And you're like, there's no way that's 1,000.
Well, I did share what 10,000 and 30,000 dots look like.
Yeah. But it is interesting just to see the various parts and to do that. And so Saturday we're proofing the boxes, and Sunday is the Santa Claus caravan. Well, I'm going to drive around to the metro area, and some people will come pick theirs up, and the rest of the people will cry because they don't have their bricks yet. But it's a wrap. It's making its progress. So we're getting that thing done.
So yeah, we're 3 weeks from Brickworld.
Yes.
So,
I mean, oh yeah.
I have to say I would probably not do the whole deep dish pizza thing again. I mean, it was fun to do once, but like, I don't need to do it again.
Yeah,
You have to wait a long.
I'm more of a hand tossed pizza fan myself, so
Yeah, I would not mind going to like a good pizza place that is like highly recommended as just good pizza. That'd be great. But the deep dish thing is it's a gimmick and it's fun to do once, but like you know.
And if you go, if your hotel room has a refrigerator so that you can eat the leftovers, then that makes sense. But a lot of times if you go and get deep dish and it's only 2 people, there's no way you can eat all of that pizza. So you either just, wasted it, or you're going to have pizza in your hotel room, which I'm not looking down on that at all, but I like pizza in the hotel room. But it's a lot of mass. Like it's a lot of food.
The one last thing I would say, and this is a problem I had when I got to town, I was just going to have breakfast in my room, and there was not a very good grocery store that I could locate anywhere near the convention. I ended up going to an Amazon, whatever the food store that they have called Amazon Fresh.
Yeah.
And their selection was fairly limited as well. Like it was more higher end type stuff. So I'm planning to do that again when I come in, but I'm going to try and see if I can find something a little bit further out to grab the groceries from.
Yep.
So
there's a Walmart that's not far from the convention, but I don't know what they have as far as food.
Yeah, I didn't know if they had groceries at that point, so it was like the first day I went. Like I woke up in the morning and went, and nothing. And the other problem was I went at like 6 or 7 or 8 in the morning because of the time change. I was awake, and nothing was open as well. So when I was hungry, so.
We're getting the recommendation from Connor because Connor is also a former Chicago.
Yep. Blue Mountain Natty's and Giordano's is probably the 2 better end pizza places, in my opinion.
Oh, I see Fazoo made a comment.
Yeah, he came in when we were talking about Portillo's. I think his Portillo's alarm was going off.
But we're coming up on 9 o'clock, so I think we're gonna wind this one down. But thanks to everybody in the chat for joining us, and it's been fun talking about Brickworld. It's 3 weeks away. It's going to be fun, and we're all really excited. And as Fazoom always says, be awesome and build awesome and be kind to your neighbor and try to make someone's day better. So everybody have a great weekend. I don't know if we're going to be back on Monday because it's Memorial Day, so maybe not. I don't know. But everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you later. So